I might cut my contribution to 5 minutes or thereabouts, just to facilitate other members who want to who made contributions this evening, who have been here all day, and I think it's only fair that we would share our time around. Everybody wants to support this bill put down by Sinn Féin, and we also appreciate the opportunity to speak on the issue, indeed, of housing. I'm disappointed the Minister is no longer in the chamber, but we did have some constructive engagement with him in the past, particularly on one of the housing strategies that the Labour Party is trying to pursue, which is a rent-to-buy scheme. I think, Minister, you'll appreciate that, particularly in high rental areas, it's particularly difficult for couples or individuals to rent and to save for a deposit at the same time. And what we were trying to reintroduce was previous schemes where an individual could, through the local authority, have a scheme where they could rent for 3 years. All that rental would go towards the deposit. They could walk away from the scheme after 3 years if they so wished, or they could put that towards a deposit and get on the property ladder. The idea being that you didn't have to rent and save simultaneously. And a lot of these schemes were reasonably successful previous to the crash, but then were discontinued. So we want to work proactively with the department and try to get some of these state-sponsored schemes up and running again to benefit people. I would like to say this much about the Minister's response. I mean, I did serve in government for a particularly short period of time, 18 months, and one of the big lessons I learned there was that when government says that something isn't possible, or it's unconstitutional, or it's not legal, if something is important enough, well, all those barriers can be overcome. And there's any amount of things we were told weren't possible, or potentially not legal, or potentially unconstitutional, which were all swept aside once the COVID crisis hit. Such as rent freezes and eviction freezes and nationalisation of health services and all the rest of it. So, Minister, I just, in the time that I have, want to outline for you and to the House just how serious the situation is by referring to the Daft Rental Report Q1 2020, saying that rents rose by 3.8% nationally year on year, which marks the lowest rate of inflation since late 2012. But while rents fell nationwide by 2.1% between March and April of 2020, in the teeth of the COVID crisis, between their lowest point in the early 2010s and the peak of 2020 Q1, rents rose by between 52% in Connacht Ulster and 107% in Dublin. Rent-a-room trends. In Q1 2020. In Dublin city centre, the average rent for a single bedroom was €715, an increase of 8.2% year on year. The average rent for a double bedroom was €820, an increase of 4.6% year on year. In South East Leinster, the average rent for a single bedroom was €389, an increase of 16.1% year on year. In Limerick city centre, the average rent for a single bedroom was €429, an increase of 16.3% year on year. In Waterford city centre, the average rent for a double bedroom was €399, an increase of 9.6% year on year. In Galway city centre, the average rent for a double bedroom was €560, an average increase of 19.7% year on year. And in the Daft Housing Report, July 2020, €1,412 was the average national rent in July 2020. €2,030 was the average rent in Dublin in July 2020. €2,030 average. Monthly rents are on average 0.5% lower in Dublin, but higher than March levels elsewhere. Rent has increased in Laois 4% year on year and is now at €1,002. Rent has increased in Longford by 3.3% year on year to €737. Rent has increased in Kilkenny by 4.2% year on year to €999. Rent has increased in Limerick County by 3.4% to €925. In Longford, the monthly rent of a one-bedroom apartment has increased by 8% year on year to €556. In Carlow, the monthly rent of a one-bed apartment has increased by 9% year on year to €724. And I'll give one more example because I know other deputies want to make contributions. In Dublin 24, the monthly rent of a one-bed apartment increased 5% year on year to €1,425. So, Minister, the point we're trying to make in my contribution to this bill is that people in opposition are genuinely trying to find solutions. And we're genuinely coming into this chamber from a good place. But I would challenge the contention from the Minister that when pieces of legislation are put in front of him, that people are playing games or are not serious or are not dealing with crisis situations that families are facing, individuals are facing day by day. And that when answers come about constitutionality or legality, to me, from my experience, I don't take that necessarily at face value. I think with a bit of imagination and with the same sort of, I don't know, energy and belief that we all put, came together with at the beginning of the COVID crisis, we could overcome a huge number of issues. And with that, I would like it maybe in your contribution to make reference to the rent-to-buy scheme which we are trying to pursue.